All right. The Union kickoff Saturday afternoon at Subaru Park. It's great to get a few minutes before the season starts with the coach himself, Jim Curtin. Coach, welcome back to the show.
Hi, guys. Thanks so much for having me. Great to be on.
We always love when we get to talk to you, especially just before the season. Always fun to hear. How was your off season? Did you get a little time with the kids and family? Maybe watch some Philly sports?
Yeah, it was nice. Look, anytime you can kind of shut down after a long season, especially a successful one, it's nice. Got to see a lot of family, obviously, over the holidays with Thanksgiving and Christmas. But yeah, got to get away from the game. But the off seasons get shorter and shorter, and then to be honest, there's no real off season. Your phone's always on, and you're always kind of connected and thinking of ways to try to improve the team. So. Yeah, good to spend some family time for sure, but the batteries are recharged and ready to go for 2022.
Coach, you talked about a successful season last year. It was an incredibly successful season, but you had in my mind, one of the most challenging coaching jobs anybody has ever had in the history of American team sports with what happened at the end of your season. What was it like for you at the time going through that, and how did you deal with that? And as you look back on it now, what did you learn as a coach from that experience?
Yeah, look, that one's certainly not in the coaching courses or the coaching manuals, and there's no YouTube I can go to for advice for the unique situation we found ourselves in the Eastern Conference Finals. We had a tremendous playoff run, and we're really clicking on all cylinders and had a nice home game set up against New York City. And as everybody knows by now, had 11 cases of COVID hit our group to a lot of our key players. So as the week of preparation into that happened, you were preparing, and then you'd think you'd have a new plan in place, and the plan would have to change because you'd lose an additional player. So we didn't lose them all at one time either. That was the most challenging thing. So, we actually had to shut down training one day just to try to stop the spread of things. Took a day off from training, which is never the case in professional sports, and kind of had a new plan and approached it in a way that thought we could compete, and had another 3 or 4 more cases. So that plan went out the window too. So, look, there's a great saying Mike Tyson had in his boxing days: everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face. And I'll just say we were punched in the face that week a lot of times. But I really have to give our players and our staff, coaching staff, a ton of credit for, still putting out a product on the field that was, representative of a great Philadelphia Union team, representative of our city. And even in a loss, which doesn't happen often in pro sports, I was still really proud of the group. And I think the fans showed just how proud they were. Such an underdog story to really push the eventual MLS Cup champions as far as we did was a pretty impressive feat in itself. But overall, a unique week, like you said, one that I learned a ton from. Have learned to always be able to adapt and adjust your game. And have flexibility and also kind of step back and realize it is just sports too. And there's more important things in life. That's for sure.
And look, we were in the stadium that day. The first of all, the atmosphere was electric and yet pensive at the same time, given what we had with the players on the pitch. But the respect that the fans seemed to show you afterwards, you all certainly earned it. So it was good to see. As we come in, sorry, go ahead, Coach.
Sorry, no, incredible. I agree. Just going back to the atmosphere in all of our playoff games, in particular that last one, to get cheered off the field by our home fans in a heartbreaking loss is something that I'll never forget. And again, I'd like to thank the fans for that atmosphere, and you guys, if you guys were there too. So thank you for that.
It was really, it's one of those challenging things. There's the disappointment of the loss, and then you're seeing this team that half the guys have never been able to get on the field, and some of them are out of their position, and they're out there fighting until the end, and it was an exciting game. So as we come into this year, you said your phone never went off this off season. Lots of new faces in, some faces we know out. Tell us about some of the new faces that people can expect to see on the pitch this year. And I know there's a question about when some of them might actually be here to start.
Yeah, obviously the big one that everyone has talked about is Mikel Ure from Bromby. Incredible goal scorer, incredible leader on the field. And look, we did our homework on him, and we invested a lot of money from ownership, which are all great things. But perhaps sometimes the best confirmation that you made a good decision comes from your former players. And we got good confirmation from Brendan Aronson, who played against Bromby in the Europa League. And Brendan Aronson's first words when he spoke about Michael Ure were, that guy's an absolute beast. The city's going to love him. He's going to fit the playing style. So that actually made me really happy when you heard that confirmation from a player in Brendan Aronson, who's obviously doing great things on his own right now. But for him to confirm that Ure's going to fit the group really well, that was good. Not that I don't trust our scouts, you know what I mean? But it was good to hear it from a player that's about as familiar with our playing style as anybody. So, he's a great player. He'll come in and really help the group. Obviously has big game experience, has scored goals in the top European league, and has been the leader of a club before. So we can't wait to get him here. Still isn't here yet, but we're working as quickly as we can, and everything we've done on our side is completed. We're just waiting on the government to sort it out. Things we kind of can't control. Julian Carranza is another one under the radar in this league that, obviously was a Miami player previously, maybe didn't get the opportunities in Miami. But the more I've been around Julian and worked with him, and his movement around the goal, his ruthlessness in front of goal to score, the way he works hard defensively, and has adjusted to a new team very quickly, and it's awesome in our locker room. I think he is another one that's going to really grow on our fans. They're going to fall in love with him quickly. So again, two special additions to the team. Obviously, our younger players are a year older. They've improved drastically. Our veterans are still looking strong as ever, and Alejandro Bedoya and Jacob Glesnes and Andre Blake. So I really like where the group is at. We're stable. We're strong defensively. And I'll just say teams don't like to play against us, which is the ultimate compliment.
You mentioned Brendan Aronson. It's nice to hear that you're still in touch with those guys. What is it like for you? I mean, you saw them literally grow up and helped in their development. How proud are you when you see people like Brendan succeeding in the way that he is?
Yeah, look, I've been around Brendan since he was 9 years old, and was to his dad's waist, and he would come to Union Junior sessions way back in the day. To see him now thriving on the European stage and dominating games against the likes of Bayern Munich and being amazing for our U.S. national team, you just can't help but be proud of him. And it is a true testament that, if you do work hard enough at this game, there's no real shortcuts or secrets or formula other than hard work and putting the time in and being willing to learn from others and kind of having self-awareness and trying to improve your game each and every day. So he's a real poster boy for not just the Philadelphia Union, but for any kid in U.S. soccer, that doesn't matter how big or strong or fast you are, but if you're willing to put the time in on the practice field, you can get better and go to the highest level in this game. And he's been awesome to play a small role in his growth and development. He makes us proud every time he steps on the field.
We talk about Brendan and just the success of the Union Academy. Given some of the change in the roster, it seems like there will be more opportunities for guys like Paxton Aronson and Quinn Sullivan and Jack McGlynn. Can you talk about who our listeners should be looking out for this year that you as a coach hope will take that next step from the young guys?
Yeah, well, you just nailed three of them. Paxton, obviously, the genetics are there. He's got the DNA of his brother. He's been exceptional in this preseason. Jack McGlynn, same thing. He has a left foot that, he does things at age 18 that I didn't learn till I was, 30 years old. So he's so far ahead of things. He's going to be a real special player. Quinn Sullivan as well, as you mentioned, our most fit player on our team. So he's got this relentless work ethic. Those three guys, for what it's worth, I just got off the phone with our U20 national team coach, and they're three of the players they want to build the national team around. So it's not just me that sees it. It's not just our fans that see it, but on the national team stage, they see it as well, just how important they are. And then Brandon Craig is another one, a center back that, let's be honest, he just has three really good center backs in front of him right now. But for a 17-year-old kid, he's improved drastically this offseason and had a great preseason for us as well. Nathan Harriel plays at that right back position and does better and better each season in each training session. So a lot of good young top talent within the club. We're really happy with the environment we create for them to get better each day. and it's been fun to watch them all grow and develop.
We talked earlier about the challenges you had last season with these young guys. Typically, the U20 World Cup and Olympic qualifying doesn't always fall during that FIFA window. How do you, as a coach, manage letting 3 or 4 of your core young players go and having them here for the team versus the experience they get on the national stage in that qualifying?
Yeah, it's a great question, and it's a complicated question, and it'll get a kind of a complicated answer. At the end of the day, our sport is unique because it is global, and the ultimate goal of all these guys in the locker room is to represent the national team, and it's to represent the national team in the World Cup. Because that is our Super Bowl, that is our World Series, whatever you want to call it. But it happens on a world stage, not on a league stage, which is different than maybe what the common basic American fan is used to. So for these guys, we understand that we have to, even though they're some of our best players, we have to let them go with the national team because ultimately their goals and their ambition is to represent their country at the highest possible level and dream of someday reaching the World Cup. So if we prevented that, for example, we'd be doing a disservice to them and to the game, to be quite honest. So as the game continues to grow in this country, I think more and more people will get the understanding of just how important it is to represent your country. I think we all have pride in our country, and it comes out usually during the Olympics or whatever it might be. But for those maybe that don't fully understand how soccer works, the ultimate goal is that World Cup and them representing their nation, where there's just so much passion in the game, and something that I think our country is growing in and recognizing now as well. So to have those young guys in our locker room represent the United States is the ultimate goal, and we never want to get in the way of that.
One of the other challenges of being in a global sport is also the integration of the players. Last year you had Daniel Gazdag come in the middle of the season, and now you have the guys that you have coming in this year. How important is it to have leadership like you have in that locker room to help integrate everyone?
Yeah, so you can talk about formations and tactics and video analysis or substitution patterns. You can talk all about that, and it's an important part of the game, no question. But if you don't have relationships with these players, you have no chance. So I think you have to cultivate an environment where you get to know them on an individual, on a human level, first and foremost. That's from what I've learned in over my time, and I'm not here to say I'm right, but the relationships you create are more powerful than anything I can do on the field with X's and O's. It truly has been proven, at least in my experience, to be the way it is. We have more than 15 different countries represented in our locker room. We have guys that don't speak English, so we have to find ways to teach them English, get them English lessons, or get to know them in different ways. So you're always trying to find different ways to connect with your players, because if you connect with them, they'll give you the most effort on the field. If they feel like they're part of a group that embraces them, embraces their differences, embraces their culture, you have a much more likelihood of success. So I'm not downplaying the role of the head coach, don't get me wrong, but I think just being open, letting them be able to text you at any time if they're going through something with their family, all those things go into the importance of building a really special high-performance environment. And we like to think we have a good one here in Philadelphia. We can always work on it and improve, but it still comes down to the relationships you have with people. I think that's first and foremost the most important thing.
Will there be foot ping pong for the players to play this year?
Oh, they play nonstop. So my only concern with that is that they break a bone or something like that. But they play nonstop. They get almost more competitive in that than they do in training sessions some days. So they get after it. I'll just say that. They play with their feet. They play with their head. We even do have also a ping pong table. We had to take that away because a ping pong paddle got thrown through a 42-inch TV that when a game got a little too competitive. So yes, we have. These are really competitive guys. They want to win everything, whether it's foot pong or table tennis or flipping a coin. They want to win everything every day.
All right. I've got 2 to finish, and then we'll let you go. We talked about the new faces, some of the young guys. Year after year, Andre Blake is the wall back there as one of the top goalkeepers, if not the top in the league. Talk about Andre's leadership on and off the pitch and just how important he is to the team dynamic.
Yeah, look, if you rewind to when Andre first came to the team, he was this quiet, shy, kind of humble kid that I think knew he was a good goalkeeper, but didn't want to step on any toes. To see him evolve into obviously the best goalkeeper on the field has been special to see. I think he's always had that talent and ability in him, but to see him evolve as a vocal leader in the locker room is something that I'm really proud of him for. He's the guy that talks to the players, right after I do, and they leave the locker room. He gets the guys, gives them a kick in the butt when they need it. He puts his arm around the younger guys when they need that as well. So he's found a great spot here in Philadelphia. The city's really embraced him. We're fortunate to have him. Sometimes we forget about his greatness and how easy he makes the game look, but overall, love Andre on the field, but really proud of how he's grown off the field too as a leader in that locker room.
Coach, how excited are you for this weekend?
Yeah, I think every season brings a different feeling of excitement. I think this one is a little unique in that we're no longer a team that's sneaking up on anybody. You look at all the pundits and the media everywhere, and a lot of teams throughout the country, or a lot of pundits and media have us picked as towards the top of the league, as one of the best teams in the league. So it keeps us on guard. It keeps us motivated. But certainly when the season starts, you walk out into Subaru Park and it's a full house, and we're the first game of the MLS calendar at 1 p.m. on Saturday here. You can't help but get excited. I wish I could bottle up the feeling of coming out of that tunnel to our fans. The different things, the noises you hear of the metal studs hitting the concrete, and the crowd getting a little bit louder. I hate to liken it to gladiators, but when they came out of it back in the day, but it's got to be as close as it gets to that, because it's a real rush and a real feeling of excitement that you get. So looking forward to that Saturday, and can't wait to spend the day with our fans.
We can't wait to see you guys coming out. Last question before we let you go. The Fashion Corner segment of the show. As you know, last year, some of your gear I bought immediately. Still have the sweatshirt. Jeff reminded me I don't look as good in it as you do. I appreciated that support from him. Any sweatshirts or sneakers that we should know about? Any gear coming out you're going to break out this season?
I'm going this. I will have a new pair of sneakers. I've gotten ahead of the game. So Nike is a great sponsor of mine, and they do an amazing job. But I got backed up last year a little bit. Sometimes with the deliveries during COVID, it took some time. But this year I should have. I was close to having a new pair for every game. This year I'll definitely have a 34 for the regular season, 34 different pairs of Nike. So I guess you could keep an eye out for that. But yeah, there's some cool stuff that the Union Store will have in shop for me. I usually get the first crack at the stuff before it comes out, and I get to wear it first, which is always a nice benefit that I get. And hopefully, people get out and continue to wear the cool Union gear that they're coming up with. But yeah, keeping it casual on the sidelines, nice sneakers, and a pair of usually Lululemon pants, and then whatever is the nice new cool Union gear that I get from the store. I'm excited for the new year for that too.
Jeff, I think we're gonna have to incorporate the Jim Curtin fashion segment into every interview we do with him now.
I like it.
I just wanted to know if Jason was wearing Lululemon pants.
Yeah, you're lucky that I bought the sweatshirt, Jeff. Coach, we look forward to seeing what you're going to get me wearing. Look forward to seeing how the team plays out on the field, and just excited to get a few minutes with you. And hope you have a great season, and look forward to seeing what you do out there. Thanks so much for the time, as always.
Thanks so much for having me, guys. It's always fun being on with you, and looking forward to 2020 and making some new memories. We had the Glessness goal last year. We had the Andre Blake penalty kick game, and now it's time to create some more memories for the fans.
Well, we look forward to it.
Looking forward to it.
Thanks, Coach.